Hello. I don't have power and I have makeup on. That means that I'm going to be ranking my 2022 knits today. This is how it's gonna go. What I'm going to go over is just the knits that I have on hand. This is all stuff that I have in my house. I'm not going to rank anything that I lost because it probably means it's going to be below F if I lost it anyway and don't care about it. And anything that I gave away, I just feel like I shouldn't rank because that feels mean. I'm going to try and go in chronological order, but I have the memory of a pigeon, so it is highly unlikely that this is going to be in order, but we're going to give it a go. The ranking is standard. I got this from Tier List Maker, so it's from F to S. It really should be only to A because I don't think anything will go in the S tier, but maybe I'll change my mind as I go through this list. So we're going to roll all the way back to January, approximately, according to my Instagram stories at least. The first thing that I knit for 2022 was this hipster hat. This hat is made from Madeline Tosh sock, and then Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in unicorn purple. It was in unicorn purple. And I like this hat. I think it tones down the sock yarn, which was hand dyed a little bit so that it's a more uniform color. And this was my second ever hipster hat that I knitted. I've said this in a podcast before, but I really like the pattern. So I don't really have a lot of reservations about this one. The only thing is that I wish I knit it longer because if I put it on my head, like it's pretty close to my head, you know, and I feel like it needs more length for it to really look hipstery. So I'm going to rank this B on my list. Moving on. The next thing, according to my list, is my Kumulus Tee. So I think I actually finished this in like June or July, and I cast it on during the winter like of 2022. So I had no finished objects from the hipster hat to this. This is a pattern by Petiteknit again, and I knit this using a Color Mart silk. I don't recommend it. I got it because I thought it was more cost effective than just buying Knitting for Olive pure silk. I think it is, but at what cost? Don't get me wrong, I really like this, but the problem with this one is that I don't think the color really suits me. It's this like weird off-white that's like a little bit on my skin. It looks a little sickly, but I really got a lot of wear out of this, and also it took forever, obviously, so I can't let this go. This also stretches. It has stretched a lot from when I first made it. So those are just some, things that dock points from this. But I'm going to rank it, give it a B. Despite everything, I did really wear it a lot in the summer. So I think practicality should bring it up to a B. So that's the Kumulus Tee. The next thing I knit is also a summer knit. And this is the summer shirt by Knits for Days. This has really nice details, like all of the edges are double knit. So the collar is double knit, the sleeve ends are double knit. Well, it's knit long and then folded over and then sewn in. Same with the bottom of the shirt. And then the button band is also double knit. So it's beautiful and really high quality finishes, but it also took forever, and I had to weave in so many ends. That kind of docks points, but I think the pattern was really clearly written. I think the only modification I made was I kind of started doing a decrease on the sleeve, because in the original pattern there's no decrease, you just knit a tube the same. But I noticed that in the sample photo, the end of this kind of flared out a little bit, so I thought maybe I could counteract that by like decreasing the stitches. I think it worked pretty well. And it looks really nice on. I think I look good in navy. But I'm going to dock points because it was miserable to knit. Did you see a pattern here with the summer knits? So this is going to be in the B rank as well. It would be an A if it wasn't so awful. Oh, and this is knit with Drops Saffron, which is a cotton, 100% cotton from Drops. And it was so cheap. And I think I only used like 3 balls of it. So it was a really affordable knit, and I got a lot of use out of it. I think it's pretty cool in the summer, and it looks really cute with like a high-waisted, whatever, high-waisted jeans, shorts, whatever. It looks really good. I recommend it. It's just miserable, so keep that in mind. The next thing on the list is my April cardigan by Petiteknit. This is my carpal tunnel sweater. I knit it with Wool and the Gang Happy Shiny Cotton. I bought a kit from Wool and the Gang about 2 years ago, and it was for a summer cardigan and crop top set, and then I never actually made it. So I had to use the yarn somehow. So I decided, let me just knit a cardigan. And what better cardigan pattern than the April cardigan? I didn't want to do another raglan. I wanted something that was either drop shoulder or, well, this is saddle shoulder. But so I knit it up pretty fast, actually. I pushed myself, and this was out in like 2-3 weeks. Pretty good for my my sweater working time. But I think this was the first time that I knit with like, I believe this is either DK or worsted weight of cotton. Oh my God, she is so heavy. This is so heavy. I couldn't move my wrists. I couldn't move my wrist for like 3 days. I couldn't knit for like a week after making this. It was awful. So I call it my carpal tunnel sweater, but I really got a lot of use out of it this summer and onward. I think I finished it like as it was transitioning from summer to fall, and therefore I got a ton of use, and I reach for this all the time because the color is neutral. It's like a cream, and then you have cotton on top of that, so it's nice to wear. I wish I knitted a little bit longer, but by the time I got to the bottom of the ribbing on the body, I was like, bro, like my wrists were crying, so I couldn't knit anymore. And I'm not going to fix this. I don't want to knit with this yarn anymore. So word to the wise, don't do this to yourself. You put it in the A because I like the pattern. I think I'll knit another April cardigan. I just wouldn't choose this yarn, but the yarn wears really well. So I guess all things considered, if we're ignoring my pain, we're going to put it in A for practicality reasons. The next one is a crochet project, and I knit this crochet bag out of yarn that I got on Etsy. It's a paper yarn, paper like raffia-ish yarn. I don't recommend this yarn, so I'm not going to put it up here, and I also can't find the Etsy shop anymore. Any raffia will do. So like, I think Wool and the Gang also makes a raffia yarn. I think that'll be totally fine. And this was a pattern that I got on YouTube based off of Dragon Diffusion, the triple jump bags. And the YouTube tutorial is in Korean. So I don't know how much help this will be to share, but I think they might have English subtitles. But you don't really need to understand what they're saying to learn the herringbone stitch and then just knit up. Basically, the construction is, if you look at the bottom of the bag, you crochet. You crochet herringbone stitch square, like some number of stitches across and then up, and then you crochet all the way around and around and around. There's no increases or anything. And then when you get to here, you do backwards something. They called it backwards something. And then you do a, I think they called it, in Korean, they called it like shrimp stitch or something, because I guess this kind of looks like a shrimp, but I don't know what this is in English. So, I mean, if you're good at crocheting, you could do this. This didn't even take me that long. I held the yarn triple, so it's really sturdy, and I got a ton of use out of it in the summer. I was living my best picnic girl vibes. So I would give this A. I'm docking points because of the yarn. The yarn it kind of melts in the water. So I had to put Mod Podge on it to kind of make it not as soft. I would knit this again next summer, but in like a better yarn, and it would be in the S tier. The next guy that I will show is a little tiny Sophie scarf. This was a stash busting project that I made from a Color Mart yarn, and I didn't have enough. So this is not even the small Sophie scarf. This is like extra small Sophie scarf. This doesn't even tie twice around my neck. So that's the main problem with this. And it's nice because it's cashmere, but then I think if I knit another Sophie scarf, I might do one in cotton, because this is too seasonally inappropriate. I can't wear this in the summer. I mean, I guess you're not really wearing scarves in the summer, but I don't want to even put this on my head. First of all, it doesn't go around my head, and in the fall, this doesn't do anything because it's so small. So, but that's my fault because I didn't use more yarn. Yeah, so all things considered, this item probably goes in the D tier. Practicality is close to none. Next is my Camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knitted this in a size medium, and I think that was a mistake. I talked about some of the problems with this in my first ever podcast, but basically my main gripe with this is that it's too long in the armpit, and then it also cinches inward, so I am afraid I will have a slip every time I wear this, which is not ideal. And the yarn, I also put this in the wash and also put it in the dryer, so it kind of got messed up. It didn't felt, but I had to shave it down. I'm sure this wears a lot better if you don't put it in the dryer, so don't put this in the dryer, but you get some bobbles here. But overall, I thought the construction was really fun. I am knitting another one with the hopes that it'll wear better and won't give me... I'm going to put this particular garment in... I have to be strategic about this because I don't want to put everything just in the mediocre middle, but I like the construction. I like the color. I'm going to put it in C tier because I didn't get as much wear out of this as I thought I would. Next is another summer knit. Next is my June top. Oh, this is this way. And this is knit with Noro Kakigori in Naha, I think. This is the same, basically I am a copycat, and I copied Tiffany Lou. And it's, yeah. I think I knit this in a size small. I should have sized up. I should have done a medium. This is a little bit too form-fitting for me and what my wants and aesthetic is. So I don't use this as much as I would like to. Like, I don't like wearing this by itself. I put it under like a shirt or something. And then it gives a nice little pop of color, and it's really nice. The yarn, I love the color of it, but I don't know if this is just my problem, but I don't know if you can see that the stitches are kind of slanting this way. Oh, maybe like, yeah. You can kind of see that the stitches are slanting from like one corner to the other, like diagonally. And I think that has something to do with the way that the yarn is spun, right? It doesn't bother me that much, but then it's not the most ideal. So I'm going to dock some points. I'm going to put it in C tier. Once again, I don't get as much use out of this as I would like because it's a little bit too tight and it's a DK weight yarn, so it's kind of hot actually. So it's more for fall than for summer. So next knit is my Field Day jacket by Ozetta. It doesn't look like the Field Day jacket, first of all. So I'm immediately going to put her in the D tier because, hear me out, this is knit with a sock yarn, hand-dye sock yarn from an Etsy seller. I'll put her Instagram here, or her Etsy shop. And one strand of that, and then one strand of brushed alpaca from Drops, and then one strand of random color mart mohair. The original yarn used for the Ozetta pattern is, I believe, is Platelope, and that's wool with, like, once you knit it up, it has a lot of structure. This doesn't, because it's alpaca and it's superwash yarn and it's mohair. It's a noodle, and therefore, because the pattern, well, there's two things with the pattern. The first one is that this button band, you knit it as you knit the garment, so this is not like picked up and knit later. It's knit as you go. The second thing is a drop shoulder. It stretched like crazy on my shoulders. Like, the shoulder was here, it's designed to be like here, right? And then it was like crawling down my shoulders. And so it wouldn't stay up on my body because the fabric was too loose. So what I ended up doing was I added crocheted slip stitches across the shoulder seam to kind of give it a little bit more structure so that it doesn't stretch out as much. But the resulting fabric is really nice and it's warm. But this is miserable to frog, and I'm not really happy with the final fit or whatever, but I think it looks good on. So I'm not gonna get rid of it, but she's gonna be in the D tier. The next thing on the list is my Sophie shawl. And from here, I think you've seen most of these, and if you've watched the previous 2 podcast episodes. And Sophie shawl, she's going in the A tier. The yarn I'm not happy with because she's mysterious and color changing in sunlight, but I got a lot of use out of this, so I'm gonna put it in the A tier. The next one is my Stockholm Sweater V-neck by Petiteknit in Liberty Farms yarn. And this one, do I dare put her in S tier? Yeah, I think this goes into S tier because I have 0 complaints about this. Well, okay, I have one complaint, but it's like not due to anything. Like, I knew this before I knitted it. Like, the yarn is a little scratchy, so I can't wear it on its own. But I knew that before I made this garment, so I think I have nobody to blame except for myself. But I still wear it anyways. So I think I'm going to put it in the S tier. The pattern is like, and I think I did a good job of doing the color contrast edges. So that's the first S tier garment so far. Next one is my Nele sweater. We're gonna put her in E tier. I love the fabric. That's kind of it. Like, it took so long, and for what? It doesn't look that great on me. I feel like the fit is kind of weird because it's not super oversized like I wanted it, but it's also not form-fitting, so it's somewhere in the middle. and it's a little bit difficult to style because I have no other green in my closet. So I'm only having to wear it with like jeans, which I do be wearing jeans a lot, but yeah. And also it's so hot. It's mohair. And mohair, I don't know, it's something with like heat regulation. It just is hot and cold at the same time. Like it's hot if I'm wearing it inside, but it's cold if I wear it outside, because this is pretty loose. Like the gauge is pretty loose. So like if there's strong winds, you're getting slapped around. They're coming straight to you. And so I feel like in terms of practicality, she's in the E tier. The next one is my Harriet bonnet. Unfortunately, she's going to have to also go in the E tier. No shade to the pattern. The pattern is perfection, and I still wear this. Well, sometimes I don't want to wear a hat because the hat gives me hat hair, and this gives me less hat hair, but I don't overall enjoy how it looks. I think it's a color. Like it just makes me look like a peasant girl. Like a peasant girl eating gruel in the medieval times. And that's a look, but maybe not like all the time look. So I'm going to put her in the E tier. I'm still going to wear it. I'm going to make another one though, and maybe that'll bring it up to an S tier and it'll be good. Next one is my seamless headband made with willow and lark nest in the color mushroom. I think this yarn is actually discontinued, so sorry, but I bought it on Love Crafts. And it has like cashmere content and whatever, so it's so soft. It looks so good. But this was a proof of concept knit, and I think I just need to make another one with the same technique, and it'll bring it up to like a higher ranking. But this thing as it is, the main problem is that it's not deep enough, or it's not long enough, tall enough. So when I put it on, it doesn't really cover my forehead and ears at the same time in a way that's attractive. So see, because I like how it looks, and it was a good proof of concept. And now we're getting into the last two knits of the year. Glove territory. The first one is this fingerless glove, and it's made from cashmere yarn from Color Mart, and the name of the pattern is the Nola Wristwarmers from Paulastrickt. I think that's her handle. I love her patterns. She makes such like good looking, modern, simple looking patterns that I feel like you could get at like in other stories or like Arquette, and it just it's so good. But so this, I'm going to put it in the A tier because I got a lot of use out of this. And it looks really good. I think it's pretty fashion, you know. I put a little label here that was like folded in half around the, she's pretty fashion, but the cashmere isn't very warm. So that's why it's not S. Next one, last one. This is a pair of fingerless mitts. I say pair, but I don't know where the other one went. And it's knit in Noro Kakigori in Naha, and then a strand of mohair. And the name of the mohair is Katya Concepts, and 50 mohair shades, I think, is the name of the yarn. And she looks good. I like her. I think she's very fashion as well, in a weird way, because this kind of reminds me of like the ravers, when I feel like a goth, Hot Topic goth dancing under the bridge when I have this on, but in a good way. So I think I'm actually going to put her in the S tier because I think this is also going to get a lot of use, and it's practical, and I think it's like a pop of color in my wardrobe that I don't really have. And this is a free pattern, Duke City Mitts, on Ravelry. So very good, very good. Okay, so oh no, wait, there's one more. The last one, sorry, is actually the Anker sweater. This is what I knit for my boyfriend using Drops Lima in the color Petrol, and this goes in the S tier. This has no faults. This is perfect. This is like, I'm so mad that this is not a knit that I made for myself, and I'm also glad that this is a knit that, you know, that I could steal back. This has no faults. This is S tier. This is so good. Like the fabric, the pattern, how it looks and fits on the intended persons. S tier. Thank you, Petiteknit, because wow. So that's it. That's like 16, 17 pieces. And I'm glad I did this because I was feeling a little discouraged at the end of the year, because I didn't feel like, I was watching all these videos put out by other people about their 2022 knits, and everybody had so much stuff and they were all great. And I was feeling a little, my little heart was like filled with jealousy, like the Grinch. And I was kind of hard on myself, being like, I didn't actually knit that much this year. I was wrong. I knitted a whole 17 garments, and more than half of that was in the latter half of the year. So good job me. This is a PSA to be nicer to yourself. And I'm glad that nothing in this tier list ended up in the F, but that's probably because I'm too attached to things that I make, and I'm too afraid to put them in the F tier. Well, that's it. Bye. Hello everyone. I wanted to pop in at the end of this video and say thank you for everyone who liked and commented and left really nice messages on my last two videos, because I honestly didn't expect such a good response. I thought I was going to upload the videos and like nobody was gonna watch it. I was going to have 2 views and then I was never going to post another video again. So once again, thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed this video.